Hello, everybody, and welcome to Too Weird Didn't Watch, this show where we make fun of stuff we haven't seen based on nothing but the weird synopsis that that go along with it.
I'm Brantley.
I'm Albert. And we're taking a little bit of a left turn this week. There's a movie coming out this week that you may have heard of called Baywatch, and it's based on a show that you also may have heard of. It's also called Baywatch.
Yeah.
We're not talking about Baywatch, the TV show, though. We're talking about the show that I really hope gets made into the sequel to this movie, Baywatch Nights. Are you familiar with Baywatch Nights, Brantley? Well, we're gonna read the general synopsis, and then we might pick and choose a few episode synopses.
Okay.
In this far less successful, hence shorter-lived Baywatch spinoff, Mitch Buchanan, the reliable lieutenant in charge of an LA County beaches lifeguards, moonlights, often literally, at night, hence the title. Yeah, we get.
You already had literally. I mean, again, there's new moon, so there's not always moonlight, but continue.
By the way, I am reading this directly off the IMDb page, so I want to shout out to KGF Vissers, who wrote this. Thanks, KGF.
Shout out or call out.
Whichever one. Who investigates and solves various crimes, often in some way related to his beloved beach and or ocean. Sometimes aided by several other characters, which vary in the series, including young lifeguard Griff Walker.
I thought that was all you were going to have, including young lifeguard.
Oh, right. Oh, young lifeguard. He's my favorite character.
Young lifeguard, beachgoer, officer, deputy man.
There's a great, by the way, I do want to point out, so this was a spinoff that ran concurrent to Baywatch. David Hasselhoff is the main guy.
Just off by 12 hours, right?
Well, maybe. But, so David Hasselhoff has, the whole premise is that he has this midlife crisis and he goes off to solve crimes or something because being a buff bodyguard wasn't good enough.
Is that The Rock's character? Is that why they were trying to solve crime in the new movie?
Well, they did a lot of crime solving in the original Baywatch, too.
Did they?
Yeah, there's a lot of...
All I know about Baywatch is Pamela Anderson slow motion and a joke of Pamela Anderson playing herself talking about the Baywatch movie. The only movie ever filmed entirely in slow motion.
That's funny. No, there is a lot of sort of hijinks that go on because you can't just have them saving people every week. A lot of times, they'll save somebody and that person, turns out to be schizophrenic and then that person kidnaps somebody or...
Okay, so it's kind of like how the crime scene investigators from CSI do all of police work, but they get crap for it from the fans.
Yeah, but even worse.
Because they're not actually
and then they're scuba diving and they found a sunken ship and there was a wreck, but also there's drug runners.
That's just a really bad beach.
Clearly,
they just need more cops in the area.
Well, I think that's the joke.
That's like the Gotham City of beaches. And now I'm picturing Batman in a Speedo, but still with a cowl and everything.
Batman Beach.
Aquaman shows him, like, dude, what are you doing?
There's that one Batwoman movie from Mexico where it's just the lady with the mask and the bikini. I think that might have been lost to recording monsters.
Those are the worst.
So the great thing about Baywatch Nights, Brantley, is that it starts out as a detective show because they wanted to spin off from Baywatch, and they're like, well, we're doing some crime hijinks, let's just focus on that. But then they decided, season 1, yeah, we solved some crimes. Now we need a supernatural element to the show.
Oh, yeah?
So, season 2, episode 1. We're not going to cover anything from season 1 because it's just boring, saving people and serial killers and multiple personalities and crap. I almost did just Baywatch stuff, but there wasn't enough crazy. It was still crazy, but just not quite to the level I wanted. But Baywatch Nights, season 2, is where it's at.
Okay.
Episode 1, Terror of the Deep. In the second season opener, the series develops a more supernatural/weird tone as Mitch and Griff investigate a sunken freighter while they fight for their lives against an unknown force.
Why is weird a slash? It's there are supernatural things, and then also some weird stuff happens. Is that what he's saying?
I think that they're... I mean,
in my day-to-day, I don't see them as supernatural things.
Okay, so sometimes they're supernatural, and sometimes there's, like, genetically modified fish person that isn't supernatural, but is unusual.
We call that sci-fi around here.
Okay, well, that's fine. It's either, like, they're doing both, right? It's like
right.
horror,
You can do
sci-fi
both.
mashup. Again,
Twilight Zone.
I want Baywatch to do well, and I want the sequel to be Baywatch Nights so bad. Like, they're just fighting some swamp monsters or whatever.
Maybe the Asylum would do, like, their version.
Well, they might.
Ocean Watch. Ocean Observation.
They just call it Lifeguard Beach
Probably,
or something.
actually, yeah. Just Lifeguard Nights.
But they wouldn't, that's what I'm thinking. If they're ripping off Baywatch,
Yeah.
they wouldn't do the supernatural thing. They just try to get some hot ladies. The rock person wouldn't be there. It would just be women in bikinis.
So it would be Baywatch.
Essentially. I mean, they had David Hasselhoff in Baywatch. They realized the freighter might have been sunk by a New Guinea sea monster, according to a woman they found floating in the ocean near the sunken wreckage of her sailboat.
So she's hallucinating due to dehydration and or the drinking of seawater, which kind of still causes dehydration.
Yeah, I think that maybe there's an element of easing people into the concept here.
Fair enough.
They're like, okay, we're going to have sea monsters, but we can have some skepticism, so they find this person like, the sea monster! Or however she sounds. And they're like, okay, great, you're delirious. And then, like, other boats keep sinking? That would be my take on what that would be.
This is just the first episode of Godzilla the series. Minus Godzilla.
And then there's just... So the second one is The Creature, which is someone who gets killed by a fish woman.
Alright.
The third one is The Rig, who is another person on a boat who got killed by a gelatinous green sea monster. So, then but episode...
Why is Sci-Fi not running reruns of this?
I have no idea. I don't even know where it's available. You think it's on Hulu? I'm going to go check real quick and see if it's on Hulu. I've got time. They're not... The listeners aren't going anywhere, right?
Depends on how attached they are to Baywatch. There's that middle ground where we're safe. If they don't care at all, they probably didn't click on the episode. If they kind of like Baywatch, they're probably still with us. If they're big fans, they're like, these guys are making fun of it. Nope. And then there are the hardcore fans like, these guys are making fun of it. I'm going to listen to the whole episode and tell them why they're wrong.
No.
I was in character. Those guys are screaming at the screen the whole time.
Yeah.
Even if it's on their phone.
Anyway, by episode 4, we get to The Strike, which is during a normal day at Baywatch. Okay.
At this point, it involves sea monsters, so yeah. Or is this one of those rare ones where it doesn't have those?
Well, no, I think that...
Also, this is Baywatch Nights. It's a normal night at Baywatch.
There's a great episode... So there's an episode of the regular Baywatch where the guy crosses over to the original show and he's like, hey guys, there's sea monsters and stuff. And they're like...
Yeah, you're nuts.
What?
I love the fact that this is just like a supernatural beach, but only once the sun goes down over the water, because everything gets hotter when the sun goes down.
During a normal day at Baywatch, Mitch rescues a young man named... Wait a minute. Is he just, like, doing the detective thing on the side?
It says he's moonlighting.
I got
He's still
so
a lifeguard. It's
distracted
just
by
he
how
also solves crime and fights monsters. This guy is a busy life, man.
It's like...
No wonder they named a crab after
I want people to understand, I've just come back from, like, a 3-hour stint sitting on the shore of the beach. Not just sitting on the shore. I got in the water a little bit. But by the time I got back from that 3-hour stint, I was exhausted. I had to take an hour-and-a-half nap. This guy, full-time still, lifeguard.
I mean, they got their little shady hut thing they're in.
Yeah, but they're solving crimes and, like, rescuing gold from shipwrecks and
that
stuff.
That gets the blood pumping so they can chill out during the day.
And then he's like, that's not enough. I have to solve crimes at night. Except for this one, which is a normal day.
And then monsters happen. Well, yeah, it's not night yet. It's still a normal day.
Yeah.
He's like, whew, the sun's up. Nothing supernatural this time. He's watching that sun just like, any moment now. It's like gargoyles.
During a normal day at Baywatch, Mitch rescues a young man named Jake from drowning. And he soon gets involved in a complex X-Files type plotline, where Jake has a connection with the Roswell UFO incident in the 1940s.
X-Files was a spin-off of CSI or something.
This is like X-Files, but with, like, more bikinis.
Pretty sure that episode where they had bikinis.
Yeah, but this is all... Well, I mean, it's David Hasselhoff.
Bikinis all the time.
I don't know how that's... I mean, I get the misogyny thing, but I don't understand how that's just not a show where there's just women in bikinis solving crimes. Procedure. Like, it's a different crime of the week kind of thing.
It wasn't Charlie's Angels, but there was a show...
I guess it was Baywatch at the time.
But it was basically... It was essentially a Charlie's Angels knockoff. And it was these three hot chicks, and the opening was just a rock music over a panning shot of women's booties on the beach.
Yep.
That was the opening. And then it was like the title came up, and then it was like they would fight crime in massive quotations while modeling hot clothes.
Fair enough. What was this show called?
I can't remember, man.
Okay, you're second time today you've let me down. Go back on if you guys...
That one is back from when I was in middle school, man.
I would think that it would have been burned indelibly upon your mind at that time.
No, but me watching it and then I'm walking in during the opening, it's just like, is this appropriate for you? I don't know. Change channel.
Oh, I'm going to have that eventually here.
You just get rid of your TVs.
I could. The next one we're going to read is The Circle of Fear. After a report of possible black arts event in the nearby woods. You know, just one of those the community organized...
It's called Baywatch. You're a lifeguard. Why are you in the woods?
It's a Baywatch Nights.
Is this in Louisiana where the woods go straight to the beach?
Could be. I don't know how California is, and there's a lot of California. I just love the idea of this black arts event just being like, all right, it's the annual black arts meeting and festival. Bring your pointy hat and your cauldron.
I mean, this is... What number episode is this?
It's episode 5.
Okay, so...
Of season 2.
Yeah, they've dealt with 4 other incidents of weirdness, and this guy's also solving crimes, and he's apparently the only lifeguard who works days and nights.
They also really front-loaded the sea monster thing in this season. They're like, well, I guess we can do other non-sea
I like how the first one's like, let's ease them in, and then we'll do like 5 in a row, and then we'll calm down.
Mitch and Ryan investigate and find a half-burned book containing strange incantations. Wait, they just find this book.
Half-burned?
They're private eyes. I want to point this out. Like, somebody came to them and be like, some weird goings on in the woods down there. And they're like, well, we're not doing any Baywatching. And
this is like a really
business
poorly
is
thought
slow.
out episode of Supernatural.
Are there not many of those? I've never watched Supernatural, but they're on season like 15 at this point.
Yeah,
so
I've watched in the first season. The first season's pretty good.
It just seems like there's probably some dumb ones by now.
I assume so.
Mitch and Ryan investigate and find a half-burned book. So they're just like walking around in the woods. They're just like, oh, we heard about this weird thing. We're the weird thing guys now. I guess we gotta go check this out.
I mean, I get there's a lot of woods in California, but they're also a beach town.
I just want to know
I'm
how
not
they
big
got
on
there.
I don't know a whole lot about the geography of California. All I know really
They have
is
a lot of it.
There's a big state, there's a lot of woods and beaches, and it's half the time on fire.
Yep.
That's about all I know about California. And Markiplier lives there.
Well, so do a lot of YouTubers.
Yeah, but he's the only one I really care about.
Their search leads them to a specialty occult bookshop. They find a duplicate of the book where the incantations are shown for calling evil spirits.
Okay.
This is really, really weak.
Mm-hmm.
They shouldn't be out there. There's no reason for them to be investigating this, as far as I can tell. Then they just find, like, the thing...
Do they have a license to be investigating this? Or is that, like, part of the drama where they're unlicensed PIs who also fight monsters and are also beach lifeguards?
Well, they also don't have... I mean, they were
At
fighting
this point,
crime
I'm doubting they're
beforehand.
certified lifeguards. There's dudes who hang out on the beach, pull people out of the ocean, and go fight monsters. And or find missing husbands.
Fair enough.
You think over the credits there'll be just a random monster?
Maybe.
Like, that's the post-credit scene, it's just a monster comes up and eats someone?
Next up, we're going to cover episode 11 of season 2, Possessed.
How many seasons was this?
2.
Okay.
And I don't know how season 2 didn't save the show. Just based on these descriptions alone. I don't know how.
I feel like it's like season 2, they were told they were only giving this one last season. So like, you know what?
Screw it.
We'll do whatever we want.
David Hasselhoff's like, I've always wanted to fight a sea monster. They'd be like, first 3 episodes, bud. We've got a gelatinous one. We've got like a Loch Ness type. And then there's a fish lady. Will that do it for it? He's like, oh yeah.
What are we going to do next? We're going to the woods. Why? Because we're tired of beaches. There's sand everywhere.
Do you think he's still wearing his lifeguard costume in the woods?
I don't know.
He's
still
carrying
got
the
that
little
board
horse
thing.
He's got his Speedo on. Looks like some kind of occult book.
Dude, put some pants on. I work on the beach.
If only we had some kind of occult book shop. No, but we're covering Possessed now. At the scene of an accident, several people become possessed by
I'm assuming this is a car accident, not anything to do with the beach.
Yeah, no. It doesn't say... I mean, it would be a boat accident if it was, right?
And then those are just drowning people.
Several people become possessed by a homicidal spirit, which each of them preparing to make a demonic sacrifice.
So are they all possessed at the same time? Because I was assuming he possessed one, killed someone, and then would... Or do like the whole Jason Goes to Hell thing where he would possess someone and then kill his previous host?
I don't know for sure. I
think he did that. I don't know. It's been a while since I've seen that movie.
I'm wondering what the sequence of events is here. Oh,
Crash
okay.
happens.
I have a clue here. In the next sentence, while Donna, somebody from the show, helps Mitch investigate. Mitch is David Hasselhoff. She comes in contact with the blood of a dead serial killer, which happens to be the cause of the troubles. So apparently, if you touch this guy's blood, he can like control you from beyond the grave.
He probably bought some of that from the bookshop, didn't he? Maybe there's like a really strong myth arc to this series. There was like a really strong myth arc, but we're not getting it from the descriptions.
I mean, I'm like...
Well, there's like all these little clues they piece
the
together.
The one before this, the Space Spores, is just like... Space Shuttle drops a load of radioactive dust, which lands in a farmer's field. Mitch and Griff... Oh, here... Okay, we're going back to Space Force for a second.
Why are you on a farm?
Mitch and Griff handled the work of cleaning up the strange matter. Was their work as lifeguards / detectives?
Lifeguards, detectives, monster fighters, farmhands. Wood inspectors, apparently.
Ryan is infected by the stuff, yeah. Anyway, back to Possessed. Donna becomes possessed by the spirit's killer and is out to get anyone around her. This is a really good idea. Like, if you are a homicidal killer, it seems like a good idea to become like a vengeful spirit and possess people.
You say that like it's an option in the afterlife. Oh, would you like to go straight to hell, or would you also like to possess people? You know, I'm kind of tired of the whole murder game. I'll go to hell. Like, nah, man, I'm still doing it. Put me down for possession right now. All right,
I'm ready for my eternal torment.
Would you like your own organs or a cursed artifact you used in life? I want my sword.
I want to point out. So next up is the Mobius, episode 15 of season 2. These people used to be lifeguards.
In theory, they still are. Because it's still called Baywatch.
Baywatch Nights.
Were they working on the farm at night? How much were they getting into the name of nights?
You think that, like, the studio judges were like, listen...
You can do whatever you want, but it has to be at night.
If they're off the beach, it has to be dark.
We have to have the name work somehow. It has to be nighttime, on the beach, or they have to be watching something. So they can go to the movies.
Ryan's old school friend Ashley arrives and takes her and Mitch to a research lab, where she and her husband work on developing an inanimate laser.
What does that mean?
I don't know. This is one I looked for more on.
What?
I'm not...
Inanimate laser.
Yeah, it's not one of those living lasers made of flesh that you've heard of.
Inanimate means it can't move under its own power. That is the definition of a laser. It's a light that goes forward.
Yeah. Well, I think
so. It's just a light.
Laser is just the thing that produces the light. But again, in this case, I mean, it could also refer to the light.
So my phone's an inanimate phone. My pants are inanimate pants. This chair is an inanimate chair.
We could go all day describing things that are not alive as inanimate. I don't know why they decided...
See, most things in the known universe. Except for stars.
I can only imagine... Maybe this is an autocorrect thing. It's supposed to be like an antimatter laser, which still isn't a real thing.
No, but it's
sounds
better.
Sciencey.
It does sound sciencey. I can accept a stupid thing that doesn't make sense if it sounds sciencey. I watched Doctor Who. This is actually kind of turned into a really low budget version of Doctor Who. Actually, now that I think about it,
I want this to come back. Like, forget about Baywatch. Reboot Baywatch Nights.
You think there's like a character in Baywatch the movie that's like really obsessed with all these weird stuff at nights and everybody just considers him the crazy local guy?
I really hope so.
Like maybe David Hasselhoff has a cameo?
Oh, I'm sure he does. I could...
Like runs up the guys, at night there's monsters and aliens. Like, okay, cool, later, David.
I mean, he's the star of the Sharknado series at this point. I think they could probably get him. He's not that busy. After Mitch, Ryan, and Ashley accidentally step into the laser, they slide in time to a parallel universe where they must fight for their lives against the creatures inhabiting the world.
1, the laser is inanimate, therefore it should not be on. 2, they're dumb for walking into it. 3, it slipped them through time that has nothing to do with dimensions.
Inanimate refers to like it being alive. Like I can be driving my car and it's still an inanimate object. So the laser being on.
It's animated. It's moving under its own power. You're providing.
It's not animal though, like having a soul of its own. Go. Your other points were valid though. Yeah, the definition of inanimate is not alive, especially not in the manner of animals or humans.
Okay, fair enough. But they go through time from.
Yeah. So
assuming it's an antimatter laser, which again I can roll with if it's. They
step into the laser. Should have got killed. I would say. Magic sci-fi laser.
And it says accidentally, right?
Yeah.
And
all 3 of them.
3 of them. Did one of them drop their pen? They went to go get it. The other one went to go help, and the other one was like, "Why are they taking so long?" And this laser's just on the whole time.
I mean, they do have that in Honey, I Shrunk the Kids.
Right? These guys.
And the laser's like bzzz, scanning for stuff.
Well, in Honey, I Shrunk the Kids, they like a ball bounces, hits the controls, and just kind of like zaps them. And then 3 more movies have basically the same thing happen. Do you think he would really work on the controls at that point?
Well, no, but I mean, it doesn't just zap them automatically. They all go in at separate times, and the laser has a scanning, tracking thing. I've just seen the beginning of that recently.
Yeah, but I mean, this is a laser that presumably doesn't move, and is just pointed forward.
It's definitely not alive.
Walking into it.
The parallel universe thing, so they have sliding.
Through time!
They slide in time!
So they're in a different universe. At a different time period.
Now, like, what is the point of saying it's a different time period if it's also a different universe? What bearing?
It would appear we're in 1700 California, so Mexico, and there are also snake monsters over there. This is odd. Hey, look, Zorro!
Yeah, did I read the end of the sentence? They must fight for their lives against the creatures inhabiting the world?
Yeah, you read that. That's where I get monsters from.
Man, there's so many good ones. I think I'm going to read...
Was Hasselhoff in that episode? Was this
it says Mitch, I think.
Aww.
Yeah. Why?
Because I was hoping it was just like they didn't have Hasselhoff on set. So it was like, let's just do something really dumb that we don't have to think about. Or maybe that's when they had him on set. I don't know. Fun fact: they found a lobster that had had hair on it, like it was super hairy. And they named it the Hoff crab because he's known for having a hairy chest.
This I just want to mention has a spoiler for like season 5 of Baywatch.
Baywatch sounds awesome. Where's my Sea Witch movie?
Yes.
I am the Baywitch.
This has a spoiler for season 5 of Baywatch. So if you're like in season 4, you be careful. Like we're about to crack it up.
All you people who have been really curious about the Baywatch series and they're just now marathoning through.
I do want to see this at nights though. So this is called The Eighth Seal. Season 2, episode 19. After Mitch saves a young girl from drowning, he discovers her to be...
I love the ones that start with, like, by the way, he's still a lifeguard, guys. He still guards the life of people on the bay.
He discovers her to be possessed by a demon.
Who was going for a swim? He just wanted to chill. Was he a surfer demon? Who was just like, I'm going to take this body and go surfing. I don't want to destroy the world.
Surfer Demon does sound pretty awesome. Where's that?
He
hangs out with Devil Dinosaur?
That sounds like a great 90s. Devil Dinosaur is in Agents of Smash, by the way.
Is he?
Yeah, he's their pet. And he's got a big collar with a big D on it.
Is that a Netflix or something?
I think it might be on Netflix, but it's
Hulk. I need it to be somewhere that I can watch it.
Yeah, like the second or third episode, they wind up in the Savage Land. They just bring Devil Dinosaur home with them.
I'm looking. Oh, it's Hulk in the Agents of Smash.
Yeah,
even
one
better.
Episode. It's during the night, and Red Hulk was in the army, so he wakes up and starts playing taps. And Hulk wakes up and screams, "Sick 'em, Devil!" And Devil just attacks him.
Anyway, discovers her to be possessed by a demon, who then possesses him. For the demon needs a sacrifice to solidify its base of power on Earth.
And you went for David Hasselhoff.
That's a pretty prime sacrifice.
I mean, in the show, yeah. Aware that time is running out for him. So I guess he's not, like, well, yeah, I mean, he
gone?
only has until the sun goes up before craziness can keep going.
Aware that time is running out for him, Mitch must venture into the netherworld. Again, I want to point out, not only does he start out his career, he starts out this episode as a lifeguard, saving people from drowning. And he's like, oh, possessed by a demon, gotta go to the netherworld.
Part of me is wondering how strong the continuity in the show is.
I mean, there's like recurring characters and stuff.
Yeah, but I mean...
Or do you think people are like, we just fought like a sea monster?
Yeah, if they're like aware of the insanity, but that only happens at night and is only within the past 2 years, or year even. He's like, man, I switched over to nights a year ago and it was just solving crimes. I don't know what happened.
Buffy had come on. He's like, I want that crossover episode. She shows up and she's like, no, there's totally a Hellmouth. He's like, well, that's obviously not true. I'm a lifeguard, ma'am. I believe in logic.
And he's sitting there talking to her while just in the speedo. I believe in logic. Not with that gesture.
Or the time is running out for him. Mitch must venture into the netherworld to find help from the only one who can battle the demon. The recently deceased Stephanie Holden. She's a character from Baywatch.
Okay.
Okay, and I know this because they're still crossing over here, right? She's from Baywatch.
I mean, this is, in theory, in the same universe still.
She died from having a sail dropping on top of her and crushing her to death.
Or was it a ghost?
Well, I don't know. So here's the thing. She, in this episode, needs to help him save himself from a demon in the netherworld. But back on Baywatch, the next episode after she dies, the other lifeguards find a small dog who really likes to hang out with her boyfriend and likes to swim a lot and only wants to sleep in her space on the bed, and they're like, reincarnated. She's like, her spirit's in the dog now, and they're like, and it's like, that's literally what happened.
They're trying to hammer home that this is in the same universe still.
They reincarnated a lifeguard as a dog. Brantley just spit out his icy, and it's wonderful.
Yep.
Well, that'll do it for us for this week. Hopefully, I'm somewhere watching the Baywatch episode at some point that you guys are listening to this, or the movie, I mean. We're trying to get in on the SEO magic. But
what were the meetings like? The script meetings.
Like the writer's room?
Yes. No, I mean, like, even...
So X-Files is going around this time, right?
X-Files is going on. I think this is... I'm not sure exactly, but it's...
Buffy is on. People like the supernatural crap.
Buffy was on, yeah, but it's close to that time. So they want to do the spinoff, because a lot of shows got spinoffs. Right. Cheers got a spinoff in the form of Frasier.
By the way, Buffy does start when this thing is airing. It's 97, at the same time Baywatch Nights is airing.
Is that during the first or second season?
Second season.
Okay, so they probably heard Wind of Buffy, and the
I
movie was
like Joss Whedon saw Baywatch Nights, and he was like, "This is going off on the air." No, I will do my part.
But I just like the idea that like we want to do a spin-off. We'll still have Hasselhoff. We'll just have him work at nights where he also solves crimes. Like that's kind of silly, but okay. And it's like, look, the show's not doing great. We like the kind of goofiness. We're only giving you one more season. All right, sea monsters.
Well, I think that there's a possibility that it wasn't just like the switch to Supernatural was legitimately a bid to get more people watching. I don't know for sure, but I think they're like, all right, well, they're not going for the mystery stuff, guys. X-Files is doing pretty cool. This Joss Whedon guy's about to get the jump on us with his Buffy show. That movie was amazing, and they're going to adapt it into a TV show? No. We need to get ahead of it.
It's so weird to me that this is theoretically in the same universe as the normal Baywatch series.
Not theoretically. Like,
oh yeah, that's right. They had the re-crossover.
Completely in the same universe. He's still working on the same beach with some of the same lifeguards as spirits after they die, helping him out.
You think they ever go to a bar and just talk about each other's day? It's like, I saved a young girl from drowning. I did the same, and then I fought Cerberus from hell.
By the way, your girlfriend is totally that dog. What? I'm grieving, man. Do you understand the grief process I'm going? I saw her crushed by a sail.
I get that.
This is no time to be joking.
I'm not. I was literally possessed by a demon from the girl I saved, and then I went to hell and hung out with your girl.
And then she decided she wanted to be a dog for some reason.
It's the only thing we could find. Like, they brought her back. He just had her soul. He's, like, somehow holding her soul and just threw her in the first body he saw, and it was a dog. Alright, I think we're done.
We are. Thank you, everybody, so much for listening, and tell your friends about Baywatch, specifically, but also about this episode. And we'll see you guys next week with another episode of Too Weird Didn't Watch.
Bye, guys.